So it was the 1940s and World War II was now over. Alekis Agonis had set out to create a small family car with his two right-hand men, Reg Job and Jack Daniels. And they came up with the classic Morris Minor. This is John DeVille. John, your car's glorious. Talk us a bit through it.
It's a 1962 Morris Minor. I've had it since January.
Yeah.
And probably most of the work that's been done in it the last 20 years has probably been done in the last 6 months.
In the last 6 months.
Yeah. Bought it there and then just
you bought it sight unseen?
That's it. Just I was convinced it was the right one, and you know, I made a mistake, but yeah, not now, but initially.
So it all goes into the work you put into it?
Yeah. Not all by myself. There's a fantastic Morris Minor specialist in Manchester. They've taught me an awful lot, so I'm becoming pretty self-sufficient on it now.
So John, I have to ask, why have you painted on it?
Oh, the number 7. Quite a while ago I had a mini stroke, and when I woke up from being unconscious, the only word I could say was 7. I'd been playing on my Xbox at the time I'd had my stroke, and a few days later I decided to go back on the Xbox, and we opened up the Xbox and it was on a game where you can design your paint jobs.
Yeah.
And I'd just designed all these different 7s. There were different size, different font, just 7. There was about 30 of them. So during the process of me having a stroke, I just got fixated on the number 7. So maybe it's lucky for me, who knows?
I was not expecting that story.
No, the engine in this one is the A-series engine. This one is a 1098, which isn't the standard one. Obviously we had this age we had a smaller one that was, I think, something like 940cc. So someone's changed this at some point just to give it a bit more oomph.
What have you done to the engine?
Only
Jack Daniels, one of the
right.
one of the guys that created the car. Not the actual same Jack Daniels, of course.
No, but it's nice to give him a mention completely by accident.
Yeah.
The engine has had quite a bit of work actually. I didn't do this myself, but the specialist in Manchester, they changed the collars on the big ends, and they also put a new crank in it because the journals had worn on it and it was knocking. But apart from that, the engine, anything else I've done more or less myself. The mechanicals of them, they're pretty readily available. There's a lot of companies that make them new, reconditioned parts, but the actual shell themselves are starting to become pretty rare now. So it's bodywork that's going to cost you. I'm going to start it on the crank, which is something you have to do if the starter motor's not giving much help. So you insert that into the front. Got to remember it's not to have it in gear. Nearly.
One eternity later.
That's how it's done.
Before we go anywhere, I've got to show this seatbelt contraption because it's a bloody airline one. And can you talk me through how you do it again?
So yeah, so this bit's not adjustable, and well, that, you know, it's just like a plane. It's for light aircraft, and then you adjust it here. It's made by a Swiss company.
Oh.
I wouldn't call it fast. The problem with it is not so much you can't build speed up, it's that you can't slow it down.
Right.
So, like, there's no cars behind us. I'm going to do an emergency stop. So we're doing 30 now. Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
All right. That's just. Oh, there is a car behind us. This was dangerous.
It's okay, we'll see us.
How do other road users treat you in this?
Road users don't, other vehicles really don't seem to like me very much.
No.
I think they see it as an inconvenience, and I do hold a lot of people up. I'm holding one guy up now, but I don't really mind. However, pedestrians, they love it.
What's the top speed of this thing?
Well, it's very difficult to say because the speedo is so inaccurate. It's had the uprated engine, so it should have had the 950cc, and someone has put a 1098 or 1098 engine in, but it's retained the original gearbox and original differential.
Okay.
So all the ratios are wrong for the engine, which means it's really quick off the line. One person told me it's got a van differential in it, which were lower ratio to help pull loads, and someone else just told me it's the really old diff. But it means that on the clock the top speed is about 60, but I reckon I don't know, it might be accurate. I know 30 is completely wrong, because it's actually, most speedos are optimistic, they tell you you're going too fast, but this one seems to, well, I used to think that 30 felt really quick in this because it was so old, and then people following me would be on my hands-free kit and say, no John, you're doing 40.
So do you want to talk us through some of the stuff on your dash? Like, what are the shotgun shells about?
The shotgun shells, I bought an ex-police car many years ago to do a charity rally actually, and the shotgun shells were in the boot. It was just a bit of a keepsake, so I've held on to them. Now we're just a bit of a showpiece. I've not killed anyone or anything.
Are they?
But oh yeah,
No, they are empty.
They're spent. Yeah.
I like the clock.
Yeah, the time machine. That's There's no synchromesh on that kit, so because at work I drive different cars, I forget to double the clutch. I wanted a chrome clock that kind of suited the car, and I really couldn't find anything online that would match. I kept thinking it's going to look rubbish on the dashboard, and then I just thought, oh, we'll have a bit of a joke with it. And they're selling them in Tesco for £4, so I thought, why not? Can't miss it. And it's got an alarm on it as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's useful. If you ever need to time something, but you're a bit of a hipster, you're the kind that drives, well, an old car, you don't have to do it in a digital way, you can keep it analog. It's good as well, because when I drive a little bit too quickly, the little mallet starts ringing on the bells and reminds me to slow down a bit.
Oh, that's nice.
Cutting edge.
Yeah.
It's never boring.
No. Is it never boring?
Ever. No.
And is that why you prefer retro cars to new cars?
That's exactly it. It's not just commuting then, it's recreation, but it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Some people do some really interesting things to excite themselves about. Just driving an old car's good enough for me.
How reliable is this thing?
It's not been reliable so far, but a lot of the parts needed replacing.
Yeah.
And a lot of original parts, like I only did the alternator last weekend, and that had the original dynamo on.
50 years old?
Probably, yeah. It's not been reliable, but it's all part of the process. I've had to replace a lot of parts on it, and I think we're getting there now. I think I drive it a lot harder than it was used to being driven. I quite like that it's a usable daily. I'm not precious about it. I don't mind banging off stuff. I mean, I've got a bent overrider from when I purposely nudged another vehicle, but I knew them, it was fine.
That was the Morris Minor episode. Absolutely fantastic to be back doing these retro dailies again. John, I'd like to very much thank you for
buddy.
all your help.
It's been an education.
Yeah. This thing's mental, and you might see it on a further episode of Retro Dailies. So if you like this, like it, why not? If you want to subscribe, go ahead, subscribe down, and see you next time. This being what, 62?
It is 62, yeah.
This car is 1 year older than my mum. Hi Mum!
And which looks better?
This car.
She's gonna kill you. Oh yeah, he's lucky number 7. But yeah, that's what happened.
Do you want me to put it?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. You can't be honest. It's quite funny, these sort of things, aren't they?
That's just completely just thrown me.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not raining now, isn't it?